Hello everybody, the Nameless Narcissist here once again, a simple man diagnosed with NPD, giving the facts on narcissistic personality disorder and things that go on in my head. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, but keep in mind, I am no clinician, I can only speak to my own experiences. So this is an interesting one. Like envy. So one of the diagnostic criteria for NPD is extremely envious of others or believes others envy him or her. Or often, in my experience, I think it's like flipping between the two or being convinced of like, doing both of it in different situations. And like envy's really weird. Like for me, like I'll see somebody like I don't know, like Jeff Bezos or something. I'll be like, well, if I had the things that he had, I could be that rich too. I could be that powerful too. I deserve to be that powerful. He just had everything handed him on a silver platter. Like blah 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 blah. It's really funny, some of these comparisons. Like my brain doesn't allow the idea that somebody can be like smarter or more talented than me or something. Like it actively fights against it and makes these excuses about like, well, no, like I still am better. I just didn't have the opportunities. Or like I'm trying to think of other, or like with somebody, or like being like, I could be a better actor than that. I just don't have the connections. Oh, I could have gotten into that school. I just have, well, I could have gotten into that school. I just have ADHD, or I just think homework is stupid. I already knew all the coursework. Why should I have to do homework? It's really funny, honestly, when like you really like dive into like some of these things of how we justify to ourselves that literally we're still better than people, and it's just these things outside of our control that is making it so that we don't perform as well. It's like honestly hilarious. But this also manifests in the other direction. Like since we cannot tolerate some of our flaws and some of like our like the things that like cause us shame, right? Because that'd be to admit that we're like actually wrong to ourselves would just like fill us up with shame, and it often does. Usually for me, what happens is like I don't just come out the gate like just like denying and gaslighting or whatever like that. Usually what happens for me is somebody will bring up something that I did that was like bad, and I'll go into like a vulnerable state. I'll be like really ashamed. I'll be like, I'm sorry, that was really stupid of me. I can't believe you did that. I'm sorry. Just try and get like the situation to be over, just trying to escape it. But then like after like a few hours or something, my brain will start to rationalize, well, I didn't really have any other choice. Well, they overreacted. Well, they deserved it. Well, like why, like just thinking of all these reasons why actually it was okay that I did that, or it wasn't as bad as I thought at first. But in fairness, like at first, like rationalizing that's not as bad kind of is good to a certain degree, because like I'm not thinking like, oh man, I did that crappy thing, I feel bad for that person. I'm thinking I am a horrible monster who deserves death because I did this thing. Like it's just this extreme shame overtakes me. I feel like and then I'll get like angry too afterwards, because I'll be like, I can't believe that I was actually right. I shouldn't have like apologized like a dog. I should have like blew up on him. I should have like been super angry. I should have like told me he was a stupid sack of shit. He's a stupid sack of shit. Like I'm so much better than him. And so one of the defenses that happens like very often, at least for me, is like believing somebody's envious of me. And like this is projection, obviously, because I'm envious of everyone else. But it's like somebody gets upset at me, and I'm like, well, I will be thinking, well, especially like if it comes to like a boss, which is ironic, right? It's like a boss criticizes something I did, and I'm like, well, like I didn't do anything wrong. Like he must be picking on me because he's envious of me. Of course he's envious of me. Look at me. I'm like young, I'm attractive, I'm smart, and he's just jealous. He's He's at his dead end job, and he's not going anywhere, and I am, or something like that. I'm going to get out of here, and he never will. He's stuck in this place. Or like, and it's like I'm convinced of it too, like every time. Like I remember like I went on like this fucking tirade to my ex once about how like I was talking about like ex friends that I used to have, and I just started like blowing up saying like, oh my god, like the only reason they cut me out is because they're all envious of me. They know they could never be as great as I am, so they like cut me out because they just couldn't tolerate it. Oh my god, it's funny. And like I genuinely believed it in the moment. Because since I just cannot tolerate the idea of me being wrong, it's just one of those defenses. It's like, well, it must be envy then. Since I obviously didn't do anything wrong, they must just be envious of me, obviously. And in fairness, like I think everyone, see, because like I don't understand being happy for somebody else's achievements because it just goes to envy. It's like, well, I should have gotten that. Like, it feels like especially if somebody like tells me about something that they accomplished, it feels like they're rubbing it in my face and telling me that like I am worse than them, right? It's like it to me, it feels like I'm so much better than you because I accomplished this, especially if it's something that I also take pride in. So like usually like if it's something that I don't, then I'm usually like, oh well, that's cool, but like, you know, like who would waste their time doing that, right? That's a stupid thing to like spend your time on, but you know, good for you. I mean, I wouldn't say it out loud because I'm a polite person. Which I don't get those narcissists who are like, who will just say that out loud. Like, fuck, don't you want people to like you? Isn't that kind of important? It's the only thing I care about. But yeah, like, so but if I can't devalue it, I'll just be like really envious and like be like, well, like I could have done that if I had the right circumstances, or, well, I did a similar thing that in less time. So that must have been like, I did a similar thing, but in less time. So like, obviously I actually did do better. And just like this intense envy that they got this recognition that I'm not. So like when other people like, so when I talk about things, I assume that everybody else is just being envious of me. I assume that like everything, like I'll talk about my like YouTube channel, and my immediate thought to anybody who, of everybody is, oh, well, they must be envious of me. Especially if they like don't like respect it. And well, I usually hide my YouTube channel just because like it's embarrassing, because I feel like it's not a respectable like job, quote unquote, or I don't know, side hustle, whatever you want to call it. And like, because like, but like I'm just like convinced that like they're envious of me and that everybody else wants to be popular and famous, but they just are trying to devalue. I'm convinced that they're trying to devalue it in their head, because they know that they can't do it. Which is funny now I'm thinking about it. It makes a lot of sense why I feel like that now, because like I'm constantly devaluing all these things I'm not good at because I'm secretly envious. So like I'm assuming that they're doing the same thing. And it's funny though, because like I honestly don't understand when people are like, would say like, oh well, I wouldn't want to be famous. I like genuinely think that they're lying, because I can't wrap my mind around it. I literally cannot sit down and think, what? You don't want to be famous? That doesn't make any sense. Like, what do you mean you don't want to be famous? Why wouldn't you want to be famous? It's like, oh, I want my privacy. It's like, you can still have privacy. That's still possible. Like, those aren't mutually exclusive. That's just an excuse. You're just envious. You just don't want to admit that you want to be famous. And like all of like, and that applies to so many things too. It's like, well, I wouldn't want to be rich. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You want to be rich. I don't care what you say. You want to be rich. That one's a little bit, that one's not very common. And I think that one is probably, I think I might be on something with that one. But yeah. It's fun. Like, it's funny thinking about, honestly. Now, that's a funny thing about like my narcissism is whenever I start talking about this stuff out loud, I'm like, I have to like grapple with the fact that like other people are going to hear this and how they're going to be perceiving it. And I'm like, oh wow, I do sound fucking insane. Noted. Because like now I'm doing that thing where I'm anticipating what kind of comments I'm going to get based off of what I'm saying and what I can say in order to basically preemptively prevent any sort of perceived criticism or disagreements. Which is honestly part of the reason why I'm even saying that is for that purpose too, is for the purpose of like preventing things preemptively. Yes, I know I'm fucking insane. It is fine. It's fine. Yeah, and like, because that's always an issue with my videos too, is I am consistently worried that since I know this is going to an audience, it can be hard to be honest sometimes, because like I'm anticipating what the audience is going to be thinking and the kind of responses that I'm going to get, which sucks a lot. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, everyone's envious of everyone. I'm convinced of it. You can't tell me otherwise. Yes, you can. I'm insane. Anyways, take your fucking meds, please.